ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of both MU and the Design Academy and all their partners, you can actually see them here, Balten Laboratories, Designhuis, Moti, VPRO Media Lab, Stimuleringsfonds Creative Industry and Dutch Design Week. I welcome you all at our first talk show during the Dutch Design Week. It was actually that, for a long time we were thinking of, we wanted something that during this Design Week, where there's so many inspiring people coming from all over the world, at 6 o'clock sometimes it just ends, and then I needed, sometimes I felt I wanted some more reflection on what I'd seen and hear more about some projects, and the place where there's a bar that you can see, but the place where you can actually have a beer and meet other people, and maybe if you want to be working together, where we can all meet up. So every night from now on we're going to have a talk show here, and every night we have another theme, and tonight it's all about designing alternatives. We're going to be talking about sustainability alternatives. Volgens mij spiraaltje niet helemaal goed hier. Zullen we ruilen met... ja, maar ook... Mag ik met iemand ruilen? Microfoon. Let's see. Hello. Let's see how this works. Better, yeah? Okay. First time, so we all have these kind of things. But before we're going to be talking about sustainable solutions, and we have people from different backgrounds talking about that. But first, I'd like to call forward from Studio Knoll to tell us something about the whole setting here in MU. It's Anna Dekker. Please come forward. Anna. Yeah, we're going to share the microphone. That's going to be all right. I just didn't brush my teeth, but that's going to be okay. MU, you actually had this whole space, and you were invited to do something with it. And actually, people came in and had this whole thing. But can you tell us something about how it worked? Maybe we can just stand here, because I see some strange things on your face. Yes.
Yeah, it's a very, very big space. So when we first were asked to create an exhibition for Dutch Design Week, we were so big. What are we going to do with all this space? It's pretty full. Create Out Loud is on tonight. It's quite a loud exhibition. It became exposition. The theme is collective irrationality. And of course we started off with, okay, Dutch Design Week. What are some of the typical things about this week? The most important, of course, is that there's masses of people. There's 40,000 people in MU in 1 week alone. We had 2,500, I think, today. So this is one fact that we started off with, which was mass behavior. Most interesting, timeless topic, as opposed to many of the things you'll see on Design Week. Beautiful, beautiful things, but what's new, what's upcoming, who should we look out for? And I think human behavior is timeless. So we decided to go with these themes. We created an excuse exhibition to start off with about swarm behavior. So we got all our inspiration from the animal kingdom, and the space is set up with multiple pavilions, each representing an insect or an animal, and focusing on what makes them so special as a group. So bees have their own special way of communicating and collaborating, and so do ants and birds and such. I will just go through them. Just one thing about Knoll, you might not know Knoll. It's a design studio based in Amsterdam, and it's an interdisciplinary studio. So I'm very proud of the designers, and myself, I'm just the sociologist, and we collaborate to create social spatial experiments. You're in one of them.
Let's first the entrance.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So you came in. You have the option there between 3 designers. None of them actually exist, but we create a queue.
Actually, sorry. This morning was somebody saying, "Oh, that one. Yeah, I've seen that one in Paris." It was quite funny.
Yeah, beautiful abstract forms. Yuka, Yonga, Yonga. It's hilarious. It's really funny. This is the bee pavilion. So bees, they create swarms with only a few of them actually knowing where they're going, and the rest of them are just following. So it's about following behavior, and people too, based on opinion. So in front of one of the options, we created a queue for that people, when they come in, they will assume that everyone else does know who Sébastien Dubois is, and that he's so good, and that you should see it. So will we then, follow in the footsteps of others, even though it makes no sense, really. But you do end up in different spaces. So you can go straight, you can go right, you can go left. If you were to go left, you end up at the ants. And they communicate by trails of pheromones, like a smell, the track of smell, to find the shortest route to their food. And so do people with shortcuts in parks and things. We find our way quicker because other people were in front of us. Well, you'll have to just come back tomorrow and have a look, and you'll be extra informed. So I think that makes it extra interesting. We've got locusts there. They move in a swarm ahead, not because they're so harmonious together, but because they're scared of being eaten by the locust behind them. So they're basically running from each other, or flying from each other all the time. Of course, also flight behavior in people, or flee behavior, is really interesting. And because we operate on like a sort of threshold between art and science, we don't have to comply to all the ethical rules that regular science does. So we can actually create a little bit of a evacuation situation and see how the public moves.
We don't use fire, so that's okay.
No fire so far. Then there is, of course, the snake queue. It's also an animal, but that's just the way it's called in England, if we're in America. If you were to enter through the middle, you will be stuck in a path. If you were to follow that path all the way to the end, you end up right outside. You won't have been able to see any of the exhibition. But we've seen, of course, over the last 2 days that people are jumping over them or moving them around. So that's very nice to see. Last but not least, that's where we're now. The birds. So they fly in V formations, as you all know. It's beautiful in the sky. And they rotate their position so that they're like an efficient flock. And you are now obviously in a formation as well as an audience. And you have become an efficient flock of people because you have actually rotated the seats so that you can all see everyone who's going to come by here tonight. So that's very nice to see that you self-organized, like birds do, to be like an efficient audience today.
This was the first time it actually happened, wasn't it? I think, was it you that started it? You too? What happened? What happened?
Okay. So I went outside and I saw the end of the exhibition. And when I came back, I thought, okay, I'm not going to move anything. But when I said I couldn't see anything, so I was like, okay, so I'm going to move it so then I can actually see the talk. And that was it. But I kind of knew that we could move the seats, so I kind of cheated.
You cheated a little bit. But everybody was willing to actually participate, and everybody's happy now, yeah? Everybody can see it? Yeah, oh, very good. Haha. So you're happy with the outcome?
Very, very.
You write everything down and, in your laboratory?
During the day we have a few observation posts. So while you are watching this exhibition, interacting with animations of these insects, you are being watched at the same time. So our data, you are our data now. And it's really wonderful to see how this has panned out, because this is the first time and I'm really happy how it looks. Yeah.
And and Wednesday night you're going to be presenting more about all the stuff that you're doing and how you research, how research and design combines and stuff like that, together with the afdeling buitengewone zaken.
And you,
all of you. If you can all come here. It's on Wednesday evening here in Mu. They're going to tell more. So if you're interested, and even if you know stuff, you can still come and see the presentation. Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you. Yes, as I said, we're going to be talking about sustainable design approaches. And one of the things we're going to be asking is, it's cool and it's trendy to have like this green agenda, but how is that compatible with our society that's all about growth? How does that come together? And do we need a way to shift our thinking and economy and also the way we design? And in what way do designers can actually help doing that? And we're going to zoom in on innovative materials and production processes and the role of designers in these sustainable alternatives. And we have a lot of people to talk to today, so it's going to be a very dynamic, freaky, fasty show. And if I talk too fast, actually, I just started in English, but who of you do not understand Dutch? Yeah, that. I did it, I thought so I just did it, but now I thought I didn't check it. And because, Anna, with all the research, I thought it's stupid I do something that I didn't check, but it was a good feeling. Okay, welcome again. And we all gonna do this, some things, if we don't know a word in Dutch, then, we sort it out. I mean, it's not that rigid in this show, like whole life is not rigid either. I would like to go forward of the Circular Factory. Now, I'm also going to translate the name of the company she's working for. She's the curator of the Circulaire Fabriek. It's Cindy van den Bremen. Oh yeah, you were here. Please come forward. Ja, ga maar even hier zitten. Lijkt me wel leuk. And I also like to go forward of Woonbedrijf Rob Bogaarts. Please come forward.
Next or?
Now, whatever you want. It's also like research.
We've become very close lately, so.
Ooh, very close. A little bit too close. You sitting okay?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to start with you, Cindy, because you're the curator of the Circulaire Fabriek. Maybe first you're going to tell us something about how it started and what you do.
Okay, I'm an empathic designer and I've worked with Woonbedrijf often, usually in areas with residents, with the Buurtcultuurfonds. And that's how I know Rob.
The Neighborhood Culture Fund.
Buurtcultuurfonds, hard to translate. And Rob approached me in the spring. We have an idea to present at the Dutch Design Week. Our idea of a material bank, grondstoffenbank, material bank. And we think you should do it. And but maybe he should explain first what they're doing, and then maybe it's better how I twisted it to the Dutch Design Week. Is that a good idea?
Yeah, Rob, you're from Woonbedrijf. What are you doing?
Well, I'm a districts manager. I'm responsible for the maintenance and contracting of about 4,000 houses. But part of that, I'm responsible for the program of sustainability at Woonbedrijf.
And how actually do you're responsible for that, but how actually do you do it?
I discuss a lot about how to get Woonbedrijf sustainable. And you have to understand, we have 32,000 houses. That's a lot of materials. It is a lot of houses, but it's a lot of materials. And we try to close the circle from materials, in the use of materials, new materials, but also in the materials that get out of the houses. There's a lot of, for example, we renew 1,200 houses, kitchens each year. And what shall we do with those 1,200 kitchens? We can throw it away or maybe reuse.
Yeah, because people either want another, they rent their house, but they want another kitchen, or it's done, it's just over, and then what happens then?
Well, there are a few options for the use of the used materials, like used by designers. That's why we have the Circular Factory, if that's a good translation. But also we try to use them for upcycling or even downcycling of materials. And if that isn't possible, then there's one thing we can do with it, and that's throw it away. But we want to stop that process.
Yeah. So you're working together, and you tell me what actually, because we can now see it.
Yes, it's actually a factory working. I don't know, have any of you visited it yet?
Yes.
It's my father. It's my biggest fan.
I thought, who's that man looking so proud? But now I know.
Well, please come and visit. It's actually an exploration what we're doing, because the material bank itself doesn't exist. So Rob asked me, can you make it feasible? Can you make it visible? And what I did is I created the concept of the factory. By entering the factory, you get a badge like this. Then you enter the showroom, and there you can see all the material that comes out of renovation and demolition. And with the story of this material, and it's not only the value in money, but also the value from the residents. You see a picture of a man with a house number under his arm, saving the house number that he lived in for so many years, because it has emotional value. And of course, this would not have the value that Woonbedrijf is looking for.
So with window frames, people don't have not have emotional connections.
Yes, they do. I included quotes throughout the exhibition, and actually with the window there's this wonderful quote from a lady saying, "I looked through this window for 30 years. You won't believe what it has seen." And one of the ideas of Woonbedrijf is, can we, for example, make this glass into a vase and put roses in it, and to say thank you for the overlast, of begrip voor de overlast.
Burden.
The burden we put you through with the renovation. So actually, what I think is very interesting and what we're showing here is, after the showroom, you go to the lab, you go to the production area, and that's where actually designers show what you can do with all this material. And we're exploring. So we're actually trying to find out what is the role that designers can play within this big step that Woonbedrijf is going to aim for, to become 100% circular in the future. But it's not only about designers, it's also about what role can the residents play in this. And there's also quotes throughout the exhibition from residents saying, my back door is demolished, but a few houses further, there's still a door left that it's not used. Can I get that door? And in that way, we're not only saving money, but also accumulation of overlast, because they don't have to change the doors twice. And you save a lot of money by reusing.
Yeah. Well, you save a lot of money, but you also have a company, Rob. I mean, is it an okay system, this circular system, or are you only eating bread and drinking water every day?
Well, I do, but what's important is that we are working for the need for people for affordable houses. Dus, the cost of housing has to be as low as possible.
Yeah.
And when we use old materials or used materials, for example, Cindy told, then the maintenance of the houses will be cheaper, I guess, and that's an advantage for our renters.
For everybody.
And for everybody. And our economic model for a housing association is not to provide in profit, but in social housing.
Yeah, I'd like to add to this, because it's not only it is a very interactive exhibition. There's designers, I brought some designers with me, that are actually making the products.
This one, also,
for instance. But what's also interesting, it also has a program. Because Rob asked me, the aim, what I want with this exhibition is to start the conversation. Because if we want to work 100% circular, it's not going to be happening if we're doing that by ourselves. So we're working with 8 corporations, housing corporations in the area, plus the municipality of Eindhoven. And every morning we have breakfast sessions, and we invited guests from all over the Netherlands that already have experience with this, to see if they can help us to think in this way. Because of course Woonbedrijf is not able to become 100% circular by itself.
Yeah. But then I was sitting on one of the objects. Jeroen Wesseling, please come forward. Jeroen. Jeroen, where are you?
He's a bit shy.
Oh, he's shy. Oh, so cute. Hello, Jeroen. But no, you said that, and we just, it was like a last-minute idea of me to ask you, but to tell something, because this is a really cool thing. You're one of the designers involved. Wait, let me put you in the light. That's nice, even though you're shy. No, you can do this.
Can I answer in Chinese?
Yes, you can, actually.
My English is...
No, but can you tell us something about the thing you made? Because...
Yeah. It's in every household there's an expansion vessel like this, and in a few years it has to. They replace.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after a while, the balloon of this vessel is decreasing, and then the central heating system doesn't, work properly anymore. So they replace it, and this is waste. So just by cutting off this top and place it to the bottom as a base, you sit on the original expansion balloon. So you have nothing to add or nothing to remove or nothing to throw away. You have this funny stool, and there are many sizes from this height till a few meters. So. Yeah, it's in every household, so you can, in a few years, you can give back every household a stool. So. The funny part.
Thank you so much, Jeroen. Yeah.
But what's wonderful, Isolde, about this project, he invented a machine when he graduated in 2006, and I invited him to come with the machine. But he invented a total new machine, and the machine by itself is a piece of work.
It's beautiful to look at. It's in the Circulaire Fabriek. Go and see. No, it's a beautiful thing, really. Not only the father of Cindy, but you all go and see it in the Circulaire Fabriek, because the machine itself is like an object of art, in my opinion.
It is. I always want to communicate the transformation to the audience, to the users. So it's a kind of theater. So you can do it small and compact, but you can also make a kind of gameplay out of it, and people can enjoy and see the transformation to a stool. So that's great to do.
Thank you so much for the good work.
Yes, thank you.
Dankjewel. Jeroen Wesseling. Yay. Oh, yeah. And he's still alive. He made me this one, and I said, don't die before you made it.
I also brought two
Very
other
consumer
designers.
thought. But what?
I also brought two other designers.
Yes, because there's another cool project, and I was thinking, the only thing is that it's a bit what we call in Holland the zet geikemaak joke also. It's like this word joke, and I really don't know how to translate it, but maybe they're going to help me out. Jeroen Wittenberg and Benny Makepeace, come forward.
Vincent Wittenberg.
Sorry. I'm suffering from a concussion, so everything in my mind is like a watercolor. Anyways, Vincent, not Jeroen. Tell me something about your... Yeah, you look a lot like as well. You're also in the Circulaire Fabriek, and you have this super cool gewild groei project. Yeah, gewild groei. First, maybe you can explain it, and then I'm going to think of if I can translate that cool word.
Oh, okay. So gewild groei, it's a word we invented, and there's no proper translation yet. We're looking for it. So, any ideas on that? Please. Gewild groei is composed of two words. Gewild, which means wanted, and wildgroei, which is wild growth.
Plants you don't want?
No, it's the antonym of weeds. So the plant's spontaneous vegetation that grows in the city between the tiles,
Normally people eliminate them.
So we call it weeds when they're not wanted. Yeah. Any plant can be a weed, but there's no word for spontaneous vegetation that's wanted. Yeah. So we are working on with this project. We are working towards a mind switch. Mm-hmm. Now we invest time and money in we have all kinds of techniques to get rid of these plants. Mm-hmm. Poison, and we scrub, and we have steam and fire, and it's a whole operation. And at the same time, we invest money and time and effort in designing, basically gardening. So designing and keeping these plants alive. Whereas what we say is these spontaneous vegetation, these plants are actually the city plants. They do it very well. They're free. Why don't we work with them? Why don't we think different about...
And you actually gave them space in the society because you invented this whole new tile. Benny, can you tell us something about it? I think we also have a picture. Yes.
Yeah, we have the 30 by 30 tile in the Netherlands, which for us stands for the standardized, clean, safe public space. And what we did, we hacked this tile. So within this 30 by 30 grid, we made a new tile which has different openings, which allows us to make the boundary between pavement and green soft. So we try to make spaces that are in between two functions. Yeah. And also one of the problems we had when we talked with the municipality was that they didn't know whether they should send us to the department pavement or the department greenery. So that was already like an interesting problem for them. And so we try to combine different parties within the municipality, but also outside the municipality, to work together and to create a new city nature.
Yeah. And what's next? What are you working on now?
Well, we have a goal. We set a goal that we want to have our word gewildgroei in the dictionary, and we said we will quit when it's in the dictionary. We go do something else then. So that's one of the goals that we do. But we also produced 500 tiles and we put them around the city. We drove around. We started our own municipality service. So we drove around with these tiles and we talked with people and we put them in different places in the city, and now we are monitoring, we are looking at them and see how they develop and how we can...
And the reactions, because some people think it's nice and other people think it's ugly, and we don't want the weed in the street and stuff like that.
Yeah, we really like this discussion to happen. Yeah.
But it also serves another purpose. It's about the wateroverlast.
There is a lot of benefits we can gain from these plants, and not only we can save money, but we can also cool down the city in the summer because it's warmer in the city than outside of the city. And also we have the sewer system that's now overloaded with rainwater, and it's much better if we make systems where this rainwater is able to infiltrate in the soil itself.
Yeah, because it's getting harder and harder. The Holland, I don't know for the people that are coming from other places, but Holland's a very rainy country, and because of all the concrete and everything, it's very difficult for the rain to actually find a way to get back into the ground.
And there are programs that make citizens themselves aware of their garden to depave their gardens, but there is not really a program for the municipality itself to depave their own public space. So we try to work towards that mind switch within the municipality. And also there is a lot of research being done about green living environment, that people are much healthier when they live within a green environment. And of course we have parks in the city, but we don't always go there. So we want really to have the route that somebody takes every day from their house to their work or wherever they go, to make that green, because then we know every day you will enter it, and so you have a very big impact with very little green.
Thank you so much. And if you want any more information, just come right after the show and ask these guys, Vincent and Benny. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, and people have to come to your Circulaire Fabriek.
Vestdijk 133, number 71 on the map.
That's the address. Okay, thank you, Cindy, for now. Also, people can come after the show also to ask you questions. Thank you so much, Cindy. And Rob is going to stay because of the other project. Yes, because another project of Woonbedrijf. Are you working together with more people? And one of them is Alissa van Asseldonk. She's from the design research project Stroompunt. Well, where you want to sit? Let's see where you... Now there's more options. Yeah? Yeah. I'm just doing this Studio Knoll investigation. And you also work together with Martin Bouwman, and he's of the Waterschap de Dommel. I don't know how to translate that, but Waterboard. The Waterboard de Dommel. Please, do you want a microphone? Well, you can share it together. Yes, you are working together as well. And can you tell us something about your design research project?
Yes,
Alissa.
Together with René Schepers, we are research associates for the Design Academy. So Stroompunt is the design research project, and it's really a collaboration between the three partners in this case. So Design Academy, the Waterboard, the Dommel, and the Housing Corporation Woonbedrijf. We just started it, and the theme is really water and energy use in and around the house. And the angle is creating awareness, but also creating a change in behavior in the end. Yeah.
And how do you do that?
Well, we do it.
What do you actually do? What does your day job look like?
Well, here you see us working in our research station.
That looks kind of normal with a table and you know.
So this is quite normal. It's in our studio, but we want to bring our research station in a neighborhood. So we chose a case study area in Eindhoven. It's the neighborhood Geestenberg. So we really want to use the neighborhood and involve them as a fourth party. So the fourth partner on the table. So we use input from all the partners to create the angle in our research project. And because we just started, it's not totally defined yet. But yeah.
And how did the Waterboard come? How did it come to a cooperation between the two of you?
Well, actually, it started with both partners, so you should ask them, I think.
Aha. Can you tell us something about that? Coming from the Waterboard.
Yes, first we want to salute the problem from water in the water problems in and around the house, but actually we are not able to contact the people because we are just almost sending the tax formula and let the people pay the tax. But further, we have not a lot of contact with them. So we looked for.
What are actually the problems? The main problems?
The main problems are the heat in the city, the city warming. A lot of water, like Benny just told, a lot of water just coming from in the sewer system. And we have to make a lot of investments, big investments to manage that. And also we have small problems, or just now small problems. That's like medicine rest and hormone and that kind of thing is coming in the sewer system, and we are not able to get them out. So that's I think the three main problems. Where people, just everybody can do in their own house, can make arrangement for it.
Yeah, they can contribute, but you can call them and ask them things, and you can work with a designer. What's the advantage of actually working together with a designer?
I think it's a social problem. Because when you actually look at the costs, often the money is just a thing where people want to take action from it, but there are not a lot of costs for it because we arrange it so good that everybody says, no, it's only 2 or 3 euros we pay every day for water. So what's the problem? But on the other hand, in a long term, there are a lot of problems. We have to make big investments for millions in the sewer system or in the sewing cleanery, and so that's the thing. There is no actually a point for now, but is on the long term there are a lot of things, and we can't contact the people. We are not. The people are not aware from the water board. So we looked for a partner who is.
Yeah.
So that's the Woonbedrijf.
And then how? Oh yes, that's the Woonbedrijf. You said, yeah.
and then we have how to contact the Woonbedrijf. That's where we used the Design Academy. Yeah. And the Design Academy came from.
Because you work a lot with the Design Academy. I mean, also before. So you know the advantage. Maybe you can tell something about the advantage of working with designers, and how do you see that?
Well, we work a lot with designers. We have our own buurtcultuurfonds, and that in English I think is social design funding or something, where each year we put in €500,000 for the neighborhoods to organize projects to make the neighborhood better. And we work a lot with designers because the advantage of working with designers is that they make something happen in the neighborhood instead of some social workers or housing association workers. Designers make people think, hey, what's happening in my neighborhood? Yeah. And that's a big advantage. We work for 10 years, more than 10 years with designers, and we did it sometimes good, sometimes bad. And we said, well, we have to make a recept of it. And that's why we started the social design fund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you actually have, how are you going to do it?
Well, we're going to start with really infiltrating in the neighborhood, working from there.
Infiltrating?
Well, it sounds interesting, but like we did a project before, me and René, when we were still in the academy actually, and it was in another neighborhood here in Eindhoven, in Woensel, and then we acted like, we created interventions that maybe didn't have anything to do on first notice for the people living there with what we wanted to gain, the knowledge we wanted to gain. But by asking another question, we got the response we wanted, for example. So, yeah.
And then in this case, with the water, do you know actually what does the future look like?
The future of water use around the house. Well, we are also getting into the topic. So we had the first
Still in a research mainly.
Yeah, the whole project is a big research, but we're still in the first phase. But we had a really interesting inspiration session with 2 employees of the water board, and there immediately we talked about the problem situations that Martin already pointed out. But as designers, we try to look at it from a different angle and a different perspective, and going from a problem situation into chances for the future. So that's what we want to accomplish also in the neighborhood, and using the neighborhood as a test case literally gives us input, but also the space to implement prototypes immediately and learn from it. Like that's the way the Design Academy method works, the thinking through making. So you act, you go hands-on approach, you do, you reflect and learn from it, and that's something that continuously happens around the project.
And you work now with the waterboard and with Woonbedrijf.
Yes.
You're all sitting on this couch really cozy, but do you all, what they say, talk the same language? I mean, can you all, no?
No, we don't talk the same language.
That's a very sincere answer. I like that. Why not? Tell me.
Yeah, it's. I often I'm used to talk with engineers, and they're very technical, and they have to. Normally, you can say it's you make a form, and you say this. You make a design before it, and you know what the outcome is. And now the outcome is unsure, and that's very. Uncomfortable.
But still you do it. It's more conceptual and it's more, but still you believe in it.
Yes, it's a journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, maybe next year we're going to see the outcome, or we're going to be a bit further. Then I would like to call you back. Thank you so much all for coming. Thank you. Alissa, Martin and Rob, ook bedankt. Quickly, something else and something also very new. I'd like to go forward. Bart Blijerveld, he's here in the clock building, the klokgebouw. At the other side, and he has this amazing thing. He is of the Better Future Factory, and actually, well, you did a lot of projects, a lot with plastic. You come from the Design Academy as an industrial designer in Delft, and you started this because you want something to do with plastic, but you started it conceptual way, but now you're actually running a business. How's that?
We started off actually 3 years ago when we got the opportunity to work for Lowlands Festival to come up with something sustainable. We immediately got a connection between the plastic waste, there were drinking cups, beer cups, and 3D printing. We said that what if we could recycle plastic waste on the spot with 3D printers to make new products. Yeah, that's how it all started. Then we started working as a design company. Basically what we're doing is we add value to waste streams. We also help companies with this. I have some examples maybe on the next slide. It's a project we're running now in Africa, in Angola, where we really want to work with the local communities and give them the opportunity to start their own recycling business. And we have to do this, we have to develop tools that are really, really cheap, really easy to understand and really reliable compared to the traditional plastic recycling tools. So we have a tool to make ropes from plastic bottles. It's only $14, and we have a little oven where you can melt plastic into beautiful tiles. And this is this is how we really add value to the plastic waste by turning it into a functional product, but then next to it also to a beautiful product where people wanted to pay money for. One of the questions you also asked me, like, what has the business got to do with it? We're industrial design engineers, so our background is in design and engineering. We found out that in this project, people are not driven by cleaning up their environment. Rising sea level, climate change is a first world problem. People over there don't really care about it. They have other problems, but they do care about making a living and make sure their children have something to eat. So it's really important to provide, together with these tools to recycle plastic, to provide them with a business model so they can actually start their own business.
and you actually did it yourself because you were thinking nobody else is picking up, I'm doing it myself. And actually one of the things is refill is like what you now have with the, you can all see it at the other side with the 3D printer. And I asked you to bring some stuff to actually show it. You can better see it on the other side. But this is what it starts with. We have these plastic bottles that we want to get rid of, and that goes into like a shredder. I think it's in here, yeah? So you get this, like plastic little bits. Then you divide them, and I asked you how do you do it, because you have colored ones and not colored ones.
Yes.
But they have a different density, apparently.
So this is another project where we have our own initiative to add value to plastic waste by using it for 3D printers. We started with the empty bottles, but they're made of different kinds of plastic. So the cap is a different kind of plastic than the bottle itself. There's nobody in the factory removing all the caps. You just put them in a big shredder, and you can separate plastics with several techniques, and one is a floating technique. For example, the transparent part is heavier than water, and the cap is lighter than water. Just shred it, put in a big box of water. Some start to float, some start to sink, and then you can remove it. It's a really easy way to separate them.
Because in your way, you only want like the transparent part, and then you turn it into this, and it looks like, well, you know, great, it's nice. You can actually, he's actually showing it how he does that. But and then what? Because this is quite important, because this is the cartridge of the 3D printer, but then recycled with recycled material.
Yes, yeah. Our goal with this project was to make 3D printing more sustainable. It's a really big trend going on. A lot of people are actually using it, but there's not a way yet to do it in a sustainable way. So we really had to come up with an idea how to get the input material for 3D printing from fully recycled plastics. So that's what this is. This is the cartridge for your 3D printer, but then made from fully recycled plastic. And we launched it this year.
Cool. And what's next? What are you going to do next?
Yeah, we just started off, so we got two materials now, from recycled car dashboards and from PET bottles. We're now looking into different materials, and also it's a really local circular economy. We can, for example, from plastic waste from the Netherlands, we can make new products in the Netherlands. So we can also scale it up to different countries and have local recycling there as well.
Okay. Thank you so much for telling us this. Bart from the Better Future Factory, thank you. This was all about waste and well, mainly now plastic waste, but we also have digital waste. And each minute, massive amounts of data are uploaded on the internet. And what's happening with it, because we have like an overload of it, and what are the consequences of this digital waste? And is there actually a need for a circular system when we can all just make things disappear? And the makers of this project are actually here. I'm just going to come and see you. Vito is here, Maya is here, and Ferren, would you please stand up to have some interaction? Haha. Can you tell us something about, well, Ferren, can you tell us something about this is what you're working on?
Yeah. Well, we first started thinking about sustainability. So we started thinking, what does it actually mean, sustainability? We came up to this definition that is about endurability. And we saw that it's a very hot topic for the last 10 years. What we need to make everything sustainable. And as a result of the last 100 years of mass producing goods that have a very short lifespan. And once we came up to this reflection, we saw that we actually doing the same on the digital world now. And we started wondering if it's really a problem. Because actually, if you look at it in connection in the real world, all these pictures we're uploading, they tell us they're in the cloud, but it's actually no cloud. There's data centers that are actually polluting in the real life. But we were more focusing on how does it affect the digital world itself. And we were looking for answers. We're questioning ourselves. We didn't get any answers. We just got more questions. So that's why we made this little movie that kind of pictures the point we're at right now. We just realized we're producing way too much stuff. Which is the same problem we encounter in the real world when it comes to sustainability. But space, it's what worries us in the real world. We don't have any more space to put things that we've been consuming. But when it comes to the digital realm, we can create more space. We have more bytes, we have more gigabytes, more terabytes to fill in with stuff. So space is not really a problem. But what becomes a problem is workability. We as human beings interacting with this platform are not able to discern valuable information from non-valuable information. And the same is happening with computers. Computers, which are the ones who are helping us to manage all these huge amounts of data, don't know anymore how to discern on valuable information and non-valuable information. And we still don't have any solution to this, but we just looked at this problem, we thought it was interesting, and we wanted to spark a little bit of reflection, a little bit of thoughts on this topic. And to end with this, please feel free to contribute to our digital waste yards, upload pictures, #digital waste yards, and that's where we are.
Thank you so much for sharing, and that you give us all something to reflect on. Thank you so much, all of you. And now, as they say in Monty Python, for something completely different, but not really. Also designing alternatives. Now, a conversation about bioart, and I'd like to call forward Jalila Essaïdi and also Maurizio Montalti. Please come forward. Yay! Yeah, you can applaud. Yay! Yeah, wherever you want to sit. Sit down. It's hier. Jalila, geef ik die weer aan jou. It's risky. It's the first time we're actually using it. It's the first show, but I can see it's, but you're sitting okay now. Yeah, okay. I wanted to have this little chat with you guys because you're doing this. Are you calling yourselves bio-artists, actually?
Well, personally, not really. I actually have quite a problem with definitions given to me or to my practice. Inevitably, that's very much of a need that usually press has for communicating about your work. However, it's very difficult to give a very specific definition of the practice because the practice that is being carried out is pretty much vast.
Yeah, it is. You are working with the fungi, with slime molds, with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, predominantly, yeah.
Yeah, and Jalila, you're from BioArt Laboratories, and you work with a lot of materials as well, such as the synthetic spider silk and also gecko glue, but you're actually trying to make a library for all the materials. Yeah. But can you define what would you call, what is bioart for people that really don't know? Well, could you give a good...
Well, it's once more a matter of definition, and I'm not sure there is a one definition. Also, there's been a lot of people talking about bioart and biodesign and differentiating the two things. Very often there is a lot of confusion created between biodesign and biomimicry, which get to be understood as the same thing. Well, more or less what...
But when it comes to biomimicry, it's when you look at nature and you try to copy things.
And you try to imitate
it,
and apply to new human man-made technologies, a little bit like the teaching.
It's actually what you do with your spider silk, that you see a spider makes this silk and it's so strong and you actually want to be able to also make that. That's like, yeah?
Correct. The definition of bioart and biodesign is shifting. You see it also in the art and design. Designers are also very autonomously working, so exploring, doing the research. So it's a gray area, and the definitions doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah, you could maybe say that a little bit, that the concept encompasses the fact of working in collaboration with living systems and living organisms for trying and define new systems, new practices where living organisms are in fact the main actors which participate for the creation of new matters or new paradigms of production or of whatever other kind of direction. Yeah.
And is it for you? How did you become a bio artist? I mean, it's not taught in school, so it's just something you were fascinated with.
Yeah, well, personally, for me, it all emerged from a personal fascination and a sort of geeky interest for life at all levels, from micro to macro, and from a kind of desire to further explore the possibilities that could be found at the border between the design practice and other kind of expertise, as for instance the scientific one, specifically the fact of working with microbiology, so with microorganisms, with something that is usually not very much visible to the naked eye, to the human eye, in order to understand better also what's the processes and what is animating that kind of life, and how it could be possible to enter in some sort of beneficial mutual exchange, some sort of symbiotic relationship between human beings and other life forms, as for instance fungal organisms.
That's as a result in your case as well.
And yes, but I would state it a bit firmer. I think we live now in 2015. Biotechnology is moving in a fast way. It's for sure part of a society, and artists, designers are working with the newest materials and are making our future. So you can't go without it. Biotech is part of your design or art.
So whether you're a bio artist or not, you're stupid if you're not one. That's
yes.
Yeah. Okay. And what are the boundaries? There are limits also in the material what you're working with. What's an irritating material?
Yeah, you have the biological boundaries. You can't give a pig 5 wings, for example. Yeah. And you have the legal boundaries. Even an artist or designer has to stay to the legal limits. Yeah.
Well, so if on the side there are regulations which you might need to respect if you want to stay within the legal boundaries, at the same time there are also other boundaries which are maybe also more practical, well, there are for sure the ethical ones which need to be taken into great account, and that are very important also for artists and designers to work with as they become matters of conversation with the public, also for discussing in a more democratic way certain important, the evolution of certain technologies, but particularly the boundaries are also practical ones when it comes to work with materials which are living and therefore more unpredictable than traditional manufacturing materials. And that usually you wish to work with in a sort of selective way. So we live in an ecosystem which is populated by a very large amount of organisms which compete with each other, and therefore when you want to work selectively with a certain organism, you need to have a certain kind of framework within which you can develop your own paradigm and your own protocols. Yeah. So for instance, the fact of adopting certain tools, and like the tools belonging to the scientific discipline, and certain techniques belonging to the same one, and tweaking these tools somehow, approaching them in a sort of unorthodox way, is what gives you some extra power as a designer when compared to the scientist and dealing with this same kind of living materials.
It gives you extra power, but on the other hand, you have to work together, and it's also a design thing. You think of something and you want to own like the whole thought. I mean, how does that work? Working together is also sharing your ideas and having this kind of open source situation. That's also like, frightening a little bit, no?
Why is it frightening?
I don't know. I'm just asking you. Is it okay for you to work with? You have to cooperate in this case with a lot of other people that are specialized in stuff that you don't know as a designer.
I think that's beautiful because on the crossovers you learn a lot from each other, because a scientist has a different vision, a different way of working, and an artist has. And it's on the crossovers where you meet each other, is where you find innovative new things, and it should be open. And even if not something new or innovative comes out of it, you both will have benefit from it.
It's definitely the most exciting part, also because the two roles are exactly complementary, and somehow, despite the fact that they might seem to be two fields very much distant from each other, there are very many intersections between the two in terms of visions that can be carried on with. However, it's like the specificity of the practices allows one to maybe take the scientists to be a little bit more concentrated and focused on what happens on the micro level, so on the specificity of the and the dynamics of phenomena happening at the level of a petri dish, while as a designer or as an artist you might enter the conversation having a little bit of a broader perspective and broader implications for the research that is being carried out.
Yeah. In fact, there is not such a difference between a scientist and artist, because we all are looking for the meaning of life and exploring the beauty of life and nature and all the questions.
Maybe a little bit of difference in thinking and then cooperating. But then still, you're working, because it's also about sustainability, you also work with materials that you can reuse or grow in the way that you want. Is that also important for you, or is that just,
What is important, the fact of being able to reuse? Or? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but personally, talking about, for instance, the project that I'm developing since several years, it's ongoing, hopefully it's a very long-term project. Everything starts from the fact of having as an input of a process, of a growth process, waste materials deriving from other processes, being them waste from the agricultural sector, agricultural industry, rather than from the manufacturing industry. Take it as, like, I don't know, fibers, straw, sawdust, any kind of lignocellulosic material which has no value anymore. Lignocellulosic meaning containing cellulose, and therefore any kind of plant matter having sugar contents, on which fungal organisms can feed on, and that they can transform and that they can assemble into some sort of new matter with new specific qualities. Yeah. So it's a sort of transformation, it's a sort of a chemical process of transformation. Yeah.
And then I would like, because you said, you kind of agreed with the statement I made after your statement, that you're stupid if you're not a bio-artist. So how do you see the future?
You're not stupid.
No, but you're behind. You know what I mean. But what do you see, like, the opportunities in bio-art and where it's going to grow? Because we are actually at the start of a new form of designing. How do you see the future?
Well, if I look from my own research with spider silk, through biotech you can play with the outcomes of your silk. Yeah. Spider silk is 10 times stronger than steel, better heat conductor than copper, biocompatible, biodegradable with the human body. And when I was creating the bulletproof skin from this spider silk, it was an art concept about the relativity of safety. But
it started as an art concept, but actually it developed as a whole project.
It's now a research together with scientists. And by making the artwork, we discovered that we can grow larger pieces of skin, and they could be beneficial for people with burn wounds or open wounds. Because theoretically you don't have the scientists from Utah who work on genetically modifying organisms working together with the dermatology department. Yeah. By bringing them together, you find new things on the crossover. And the skin is now beneficial in a few years for the people with burn wounds and open wounds. And that's a thing you don't think about before you start the research and the experiment.
Okay, I would like you can actually see your work. You can actually visit your laboratories, but you have one now in the Fame Fabriek, where you can actually see how you work and how you work in a lab and how you. Well, actually, you also are working as a designer in a lab.
Yeah. We have at CityTV BioArt Laboratories. It's a big building where we have a hybrid lab, so a wet lab in combination with an atelier where you can develop prototypes. And the last 3 months we had several young designers and artists coming in with a good plan, and we give them the opportunity to work with new materials in an actual lab with the expertise of scientists and others. And the results are now on showcase in het Veemgebouw, the level 8, above the Vershalle, and they are showing their results now. So there is, for example, one piece that is restarting life. It's an old primordial soup experiment, but the maker took it one step further because he started with the mice and he sterilized it and it became nothing, and now he's looking for new amino acids, and amino acids are the starting blocks of life.
Yeah.
So it's a very exciting work and experiment, and there are many more there.
Okay.
And it's a lucky coincidence actually that I'm also showing in the same building, just on the floor above, as part of the show from Stimuleringsfonds in no particular order. If you come visiting, you can witness a small selection of materials embedded in different kind of applications. There would be much more also to show, but of course it will be possible also to see more, as we are currently working on a show in which results of the research being conducted together with the scientific partners from Utrecht University are going to be presented, as well as the work of other fellow artists, which I involved together with Utrecht University as part of a 2-year program where they've been trained to grow organisms, to work with them, to adopt new kind of methodologies, and the final results will be possibly displayed in March, but further news will come very soon.
So check it in the Fabriek Officina Corpuscoli. Thank you, Maurizio, and BioArt Laboratory Jalila Essaïdi. Thank you so much. Thank you. And then, last but very not least, no, this is the last person. Here is Lonnie van Rijswijk from Atelier NL. Please, Lonnie, come sit here, because here is your stuff. You want to stand? Yeah, stand. You're active. We know you work with clay and sand, and it's funny because you told me the story that you started as a designer, and you were actually worried because you were not good in drawing, and you thought, I'm just going to be a useless designer.
Yes.
And then what happened?
What happened?
The microphone works. That's good.
The microphone works. What happened? I found out that I'm a very intuitive person and that I really need to understand my environment. And it happened actually in Peru, where I dig clay soil in the ground, and I found it very fascinating that they get the clay with the donkey, and then I saw how the vase was made, and then I all of a sudden was creating shapes. So for me, it's very important to know where the soil comes from and where I'm standing on.
Yeah, and then the inspiration came, and you make a lot of beautiful stuff, and actually showing where it comes from, because you cannot work with clay that you just buy in the shop.
No. I can't.
And then it's going further and further, because now you're also researching that with plants you can actually make paper.
Yeah. But we are actually more also into the glass. So we are exploring lots of different of sand to make new glass, and also new possibilities with new material. And I have an example here. It's a glass from Maastricht. It's very dark brown. It's almost like an iPhone.
Yeah, or the monolith in 2001: A Space Odyssey. Yeah.
And what we actually is showing is that the industry is only using white sand to produce all the glass over the world, but with sand from the dunes or from the beaches, you can also make glass, but also new materials. And when I walk on a beach, for me it's not only sand. I take it and I look at it and I look at the minerals, and all these minerals have different qualities, and they can make a unique product. And this is actually the same with people. We are all different, and we have our different backgrounds. We have different rivers, like the sand came from a different river, and that gives us a unique qualities. And if you understand them, you can use them, and you can make the best product out of it. And that's what we actually do with sand and clay, with plants. And for example, this picture.
Yeah.
This is actually one shuffle I made in the wood of a geologist, Richard Forty, which is my idol. Do you call it like that? I'm a fan of him. Yes, and he is writing books about. Actually, he traveled the whole world and he maps the whole world, and he talks about that everything is related back to the rocks, because you know in which areas is vegetation because of the soil or industries, or everything is actually related back to the soil. And he mapped the whole world telling about this, and now he's about 70, and now he's studying his wood. So he's every day in his wood, and actually he's seeing that in his wood is everything. It's like the whole biotope. He is the animals, it's the soil, the tree where you can make the wood from. And he asked me to come and shuffle there and to see what is the richdom of his wood. And it's only one shuffle, and Angelique was also there, so she could witness it. And there is clay in this wood and flint, and from the flint you can make glass, and from the clay you can make paint and ceramics. So actually you only need a circle around you, and that's then you can see the richdom.
It's so funny because we talk about sustainability and then we have to go to another mindset. But the funny thing is with you that you could only start thinking from the beginning. So you're sustainable pur sang, as they say in French.
Yeah.
You were born sustainable in a way.
Yes, I can't make something without knowing the person or understanding the soil. Then, yeah, I need that.
And you now have the Earth Alchemy Factory.
Yes.
Haha. So what's the plan with that, to come up with all these things? Because we can actually see it in the Bergmankerk. There was a lot of reuring, or what's the word in English, to do on social media. Because you have to leave it, but you want to buy it so you can actually start your Earth Alchemy.
Yes, we want to. We are already 8 years in this church. And we did 8 years of lots of research and knowledge we have now. And now it's actually time for us to share the research and knowledge and to make it like the Earth Alchemy Factory, which is a factory where you can see the process of the raw material being transformed into products with self-made machines. So this is, for example, the clay machine where you put in the clay and where then a tile comes out. And so we want to make... We even made already also a yarn machine where you put in potatoes and then the thread comes out. So we are going to make a factory where design and education, knowledge and production comes together. So we're also going to make the local clay service in the church, which was produced by Macum before. So it's a new way of production system. So not a mass production, but also to combine it with education. And now we are saving the church because we have to buy it or we have to leave. And what we did, we just took our whole clay collection, which we collected for 8 years, and together with the neighborhood, we made a whole tile wall with 3,000 tiles from all the clay we collected. And we also tested in a way if the Earth Alchemy Factory worked and if the people get as excited from Earth as we are. So if they also get the same wonder, like wow, when you open the oven and you see the nature. So then Niels was there.
Yes.
And
I was just holding up one, but yeah.
Or maybe you want to introduce Niels.
Yeah, well, you were telling me they had this wall and you had the opening, because now it's going to come. If everybody buys like a tile, then they can actually buy the church and do their whole, the whole guild future. So buy a tile. But you have this little thingy. I asked. There's this little cute guy on this poster, and it's not just a person because he has a really nice face. This is a young boy that got so enthusiastic because of your fascination for clay. That's actually what happened.
It was like when I saw Niels working with the clay and looking at it, I made a picture. I was making photos. And then I looked at the picture and then I saw him looking in the same way as I look at the clay. The same like, wow, this is great. This clay from this village is different than the clay from that village. And then I thought like, yes, it already worked. So if he can't stay in the church, I'm already happy. Of course I want to stay. So then we thought actually the Earth Alchemy Factory is kind of a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, because it's also about the imagination and the process of how things come.
So, and then you asked Niels to come and he could pick the first time. But Niels is here because you brought him, yeah? Niels, please come. Wil je even naar voren komen? Ik weet eigenlijk helemaal niet hoe je Engels is. Yay, Niels. Kom even hier, kom een beetje in het licht. Zullen we maar even in het Nederlands doen, Niels? Ja, we're gonna do this in Dutch, but I'm gonna translate. And then jij mocht de allereerste uitpikken, hè? He was to pick the first one. And then, wat gebeurde er?
Het was wel eng, want iedereen keek je aan, maar op zich, het was wel heel leuk.
He liked it a lot, but it was a little bit frightening people looking at you. But it actually took him like 5. Je hebt gewoon 5 minuten, 5 minutes. Heb je gewoon de tijd genomen om te denken: ik ga er gewoon een uitzoeken.
Ja.
En welke is het geworden? And now he's going to show us. He's been thinking for 5 minutes, knowing all the clay and the stuff. He's doing a lot of workshop and getting so enthusiastic. And now he's going to show which one he picked, because this is the one I picked. It's like the dark chocolate one. But I want to know. Haha, and why this one? Waarom deze?
Nou, hij zag er heel mooi uit, vond ik. Dus toen heb ik hem gekozen.
It looked so beautiful, so that's why I picked it. En ga jij nog iets doen? Ook, denk je ook dat je iets gaat doen met klei of zand of überhaupt met design?
Ja, misschien. Ik weet het nog niet.
Okay. En Niels wil uitvinder worden, toch?
Ja, een beetje.
Okay. So maybe he's going to be an inventor. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for explaining. En dankjewel Niels voor dat je je taal wil laten zien. Dankjewel, je tegel. Thank you. This actually brings us to the end of the show. Please, the bar is open here, so you can talk to all the people you've been listening to. Tomorrow morning there's a breakfast session, and it's all about success and failures of design labels. It's with Lucas Verwij. And tomorrow, every day, we have this talk show, and tomorrow it's about reverse mentoring. So we're going to do also flip the classroom, so the students are going to be sitting here telling us what the future looks like in education, and they're going to be telling, because we also have the teachers and the directors of all these schools, of the Design Academy, TU, Eindhoven, Delft, Maastricht, Utrecht. And they're going to be sitting in the audience and listening how the future looks like and probably reacting, I don't know, or saying, this is the end of my career and crying. I don't know what's going to happen. But make sure you're going to be here tomorrow at 6. And thank you for coming and thanks for all my guests. Create out loud!